أهلا بكم أعزائي المشاهدين وحلقة جديدة من لقاء خاص. حلقتنا اليوم مع وزير الدفاع الاسبق الدكتور أبند، رئيس المعهد النمساوي لدراسات للسياسة الخارجية، وكذلك المعهد النمساوي لسياسة الأمن والشؤون الأوروبية. أهلا. في البداية أسأل حضرتك عن حملة الانتخابات البرلمانية في النمسا والوضع فيها وفرص الأحزاب المختلفة في البرلمان.
Europe is in the middle of a series of elections. We had the European elections, elections in France, now in the last days in Germany, and only 3 weeks ago in front of us elections, national elections in Austria. Up to now, all the elections have shown that the far right and the far left were more or less the winners of the elections, but they could not get a majority neither in France nor in Germany, or especially not at the European stage. And a similar situation we can expect also for Austria. Probably the right-wing party FPÖ will come as number one, or at the worst find a way to use their common majority together in comparison with the far right and shape a new government. And insofar the probability in Austria that there could be a so-called grand coalition between Volkspartei, which means Social Democrat, Christian Democrat Party, and the Social Democrat Party does have quite some probability. Of course, it's always difficult to make a forecast. There are still 3 weeks. Some things can change, but this is the highest probability that we can expect. Yeah, FPÖ probably will be number one, but not be in government, rather just in a similar situation as now, a strong opposition party with roundabout between 27-28% maybe, compared with roundabout 24-25% for Volkspartei and 20-22-23% for the Social Democrats. In the European Parliament, the European People's Party became the strongest party. They are the most influential group, of course. This is also the reason that Ursula von der Leyen has become once again the President of the Commission. And if you look also at the list of members of the European Commission that come from the different countries, you also can see that most of them come from Christian Democrat conservative parties.
استطلاعات الرأي تشير إلى أن حزب الأحرار اليميني FPÖ متصدر النتائج بنسبة من 27 حتى 30%. ما هو السبب في ذلك في رأيك؟
FPÖ is very skillful, in making very populist offers to the electorate. They are against more or less everything. They have very clear stances, but stances and positions that are not realistic, where they do not have, or they would not have a chance to realize them if they were in government. But of course it is attractive for voters, to hear clear positions, and they are against everything, you could say, and insofar they collect the protest vote from different sides, but practically in all the issues and themes that are discussed in this phase of elections. And insofar you cannot prevent anything, you hardly can do anything against it. You only can tell people that it will be, or that no party practically has the goal to form a coalition together with them.
كيف تقيم سياسات اللجوء والهجرة في النمسا وكذلك أوروبا؟
Migration and asylum policy has become the big issue more or less all over Europe. It was discussed at the European elections in France, in Germany, and now in Austria. And the tendency will be to restrict more or less the social money that people will get when they come, in order to lessen the pull factor. The pull factor, which means that the high attraction of the social systems that exist in Austria, in Germany, and in other European countries are one of the reasons that many people from Africa, from the Middle East, and from other regions in the world try to come to Europe and to stay there, because the living conditions are much better than at home. And even if they don't have a chance to work, they get more money than they ever could earn in their home country. And therefore the tendency will be to cut down this system for asylum seekers in order to reduce this pull factor and to reduce it to a way that only the people that really need asylum due to problems in their home country, serious problems for freedom, because they of course will have a right also in the future. But one cannot expect that you will see the consequences very soon. This is a process that you have to do. It is not so easy in Europe to find common legal solutions for such a way, but I think now it is the same situation in practically every country, that this must change, and therefore you can expect that now this is the beginning of a common way to reduce the asylum seekers, to reduce the migration coming into Europe.
رئيس الوزراء المجري أوربان يتبع سياسات عنيدة مع الاتحاد الأوروبي فيما يتعلق خاصة بالحرب في أوكرانيا واللاجئين. فما هو رأيك؟
Hungary under Orban has got a specific place. Very often he is in a very singular situation against what is coming from the European Commission or from other countries, and also in this situation he always was very restrictive what concerns asylum seekers. Of course he is in an easy situation due to the fact that the social system in Hungary is not very attractive, and insofar he just tries, if people come to Hungary to open the way to other countries and bring them into Austria, into Germany and other countries. But of course this cannot be the way. We have already an agreement with him, and we hope that this kind of handling the migration situation will.
هل هناك عوائق بالنسبة لترحيل اللاجئين من النمسا إلى بلدانهم الأصلية؟
In Austria we do have the problem that asylum seekers or migrants coming to Austria do have more or less the highest rate all over Europe at the moment. I think it is actually it is the second place in relation to our own population due to the attractiveness of our social system. And now we will try, to bring all those who do not have really a good reason, good legal reason for asylum, to bring them back into their home countries. For the first time, Germany will send back refugees or migrants from Afghanistan, even to Afghanistan. Austria will do the same. We will try to have also agreements and deals with all the Mediterranean countries, all the North African countries like Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria and Morocco, in order to have a situation where they can control better the migration situation within the Mediterranean, in order to prevent catastrophic situations in the seaside. And of course Europe will have to make an offer in order to have efficient regulations to do so.
الوضع المأساوي في غزة وكيف يمكن وقف هذه الحرب؟
Catastrophic situation in Gaza is continuing, and nobody knows what we really can do in order to stop it. Due to the fact that Netanyahu is not listening to anybody, not even to the American president. He is not listening even to a majority in his own country. He tries to stay in function, and his rigid position, of course, does not make the situation easier in a way that we could develop a positive perspective. He doesn't want to stop the war. I mean, if you look to the situation that the population of Gaza had to change their homes, I don't know how many times. When they are in the north, they had to go to the south. In the south, they had to go to the center, from the center back to the south, and then again to the north, and so on. It is an incredible situation for the population. The one thing is to stop the war. The other one is to find solutions for the future. And the only solution that I can see is that, of course, Israel has to offer a perspective for the development of the Palestinian people, not only economically, but also politically. Otherwise, the situation will not change. Otherwise, there always will be a hostile situation between the two nations, between the people on the one side and the other one. And this certainly would mean that the whole region will be in a very volatile and risky situation in the future. Nobody really can be content about such a situation, and therefore everybody will have to try to contribute a little bit in order to initiate such a political process.
الحرب في أوكرانيا تصاعدت بشكل كبير، وأصبح بعد أن حصلت أوكرانيا على أسلحة من الغرب أصبح ميزان القوة تقريبا متعادل مع روسيا. فكيف ترى الوضع هناك؟
To contribute a little bit in order to initiate such a what we can see at the moment is was a rather surprising development. After a year of still stand between the Russian troops and the Ukrainian troops within Ukraine, with some advantage for the Russian troops, Ukraine managed to cross the border and for the first time invade a part of Russia. This certainly was a surprising moment for everybody, especially for Russia. There are, of course, a few reasons behind it. On the one hand, to better the situation in the southern region by Russia forcing more or less to move at least part of its troops now to the region, to the Russian region of Kursk, where the Ukrainians invaded, but maybe also for a future bargaining and deal situation between Russia and Ukraine. I'm personally sure that this war will not last eternally, but there should be, especially after a new government also in America will be installed, a new president will be there, then I guess the situation will be clear for all sides. Putin certainly is hoping that Trump will win, because this would make it easier for him to get a solution in this conflict in favor for Russia. If Harris will become president, the probability is high that American politics will continue similar to the situation under Biden, under President Biden. And so far we will not know much more before the American elections in November, and real steps and progress certainly cannot be made before the installation of the new president, whether it will be Trump or Harris in January of next year. And afterwards, I think there should come a period where the question of stop this war and go into considerations how to end this conflictive situation will become very actual.
الوضع في السودان كيف ترى؟
In Sudan we are also in a situation that is catastrophic anyhow. It's the military situation, and in addition to it now we also have the flooding and the fact that millions of people suffer hunger, that nobody knows what can be done, is such that you could say even in this difficult situation in the last decades, no other situation was comparable to the situation now. Unfortunately also the trial now to bring together the two parties, on the one hand the military and also the opposition forces of Hemeti, because both are in a situation that they do not want to go a step back, and at the other hand, it does not look that they can go forward very much, and insofar it's also a stalemate between those two forces, at least it looks so, and therefore even the trial from the Americans and the Saudis did not have success. I think it is in the interest of the whole region, especially all the neighbors, whether this is on the one hand Egypt, whether this is Ethiopia, but also of course South Sudan, Somalia, Kenya, Chad and so on, Libya. This situation is a big danger that the whole region will be inflicted and will become even more endangered of a bigger conflict and of a very risky situation in the future. And insofar, we should not just look at it, even if there was a trial that did not work out. I think we just cannot watch it from outside, but it will be necessary to try to find a solution pretty soon as possible, not only in the interest of the Sudanese people, but also in the interest of all the neighboring countries. And I think, you know, that of course the neighboring countries will have to consider what should be done, what can be done, in order to keep the security situation at least in a minimum balance for the future. Because as the longer this war will last, and the more interests also come from outside, you know, there are so many interests from outsiders of the region that of course do back the one party or the other party and so on, and this certainly does not make it easier. So far I think that especially the big majoring, the big and major neighboring countries like Egypt or Ethiopia do have the highest interest in the stability of the country. If you look to the water situation, if you look to the development of security, you know, in the whole region, and therefore sooner or later we should find a new initiative in order to bring a peace process into Sudan.